I'm feeling guilty that I'm not making this video more than 3 days before Mother's Day, but here's the guide that I would recommend for looking at how to consider and think about Mother's Day for your partner and or your mom, but much more so for your partner. Hi, my name is Zach. I'm your mental load coach. My job is to help and educate men better understand the invisible labor and understand what invisible labor looks like, managing the mental load and improving their emotional fluency. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Mother's Day. I'm hoping in just a couple minutes, you're going to have some better ideas about what to do for Mother's Day and or identifying what a win versus a loss looks like. And I think a lot of people have different versions of that. If your wife has sent me this video, then there's a good chance she's agreeing with me on some of these things. So I want to start off with asking, how many mothers do you think end up cooking their own breakfast on Mother's Day? How many of them end up with breakfast in bed? Furthermore, how many of them end up with breakfast in bed but still have to do the dishes, are still having to manage the kids during that time? And how much of the gift is the breakfast in bed versus the management of the children and the dishes and all the invisible labor around it? I don't know the answer to that question, but that is something for you to think about if breakfast in bed is something that you've historically done with your partner. My goal is to have you see a little bit more of the invisible labor that surrounds Mother's Day and the complaints that I see year in, year out. So I would say that success on Mother's Day looks like you holding, not just getting her gifts, not just getting her flowers or chocolate or having her spend quality time with the kids or going somewhere, but it's holding the mental, emotional, and domestic labor surrounding motherhood. I know for a lot of moms, they just want the day off for 24 hours. They want to not default parent. I've seen women talk before about just getting a hotel room and hanging out by themselves for a day, reading a book and having some room service. Moms, especially given what the Surgeon General said no more than a year ago, saying that it is tough to be a parent today and burnout is on the rise and seemingly forever on the rise. Your antidote to that is helping take off the mental load, taking off the invisible labor. So what do I mean by that? It's not necessarily about grand gestures, and it's much more about ownership of full tasks. So let's start with flowers, right? Mother's Day on flowers. I walked in the other day to the grocery store. Flowers were already out. They're prepping and priming everyone to buy flowers. Do you show up with flowers and just hand them to her? Or do you put them in a vase? Do you put the water in them? Do you put a little bit of the food for the flowers in the vase? How many days after do you actually clean it up? Or is it going to be on her to not only throw the flowers out, re-put them in a vase, clean the vase out, and put it back on that top shelf that you rarely touch all the time? If you're going to do flowers, do the whole 9 yards of it, or all the invisible labor. So it's not just showing up with flowers and saying, boom, hey, bouquet, here you go. It's having it be presented in a way that she does not have to do more work. Breakfast in bed. If you're thinking about doing breakfast in bed, it means having those groceries prepared for it, not asking her, hey, can you make sure that there's this thing for your breakfast in bed a couple days in advance? It's making sure that if there is a mess, if the kids are helping to make it, that episode of Bluey when they make, I think it's eggs for Bandit's Father's Day. Is it part of the gift to have the kids making it and have the kids feel pride in it? Or is it delivering an awesome experience to mom? And or is that awesome experience for mom the fact that the kids put effort into it more so than whether it tastes good or not? So this is where you got to know your partner. This is where you got to, sometimes it's going to be asking questions. Sometimes it's going to be knowing it. And I think if they're sending you this video, they're up for a discussion about it on some level. So it might be I would bet you could come to them and say, hey, I want to do breakfast in bed. I'm imagining you would rather have a awesome experience having the meal taste good more so than that the kids did it. I'm planning on having the kids work on making you a card. So I think deciding what you want that to look like and talking with her about it and what her expectations are. I think there's a lot of unspoken expectations about what a lot of mothers are expecting. There's a lot of times, sometimes they're hoping that you will come to them. Sometimes they want you to just know. This is where you gotta weigh. Hopefully you're seeing this more than 1 or 2 days before. Whatever you do, don't say, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? I would highly encourage saying, here's what I'm imagining you would want for Mother's Day, X, Y, and Z. Does that work for you? Remembering the goal of the mental load is not giving them a task, not giving them something to do and to think about and to consider from scratch. There are going to be preferences that you're going to want their way in on, but I think coming to the table, having prepared something, there's a totally different experience coming with one whole open-ended question, the way I would give my honors students a math test, or giving my lower level students a math test that has multiple choices to it with defaults answers to it. So I think coming prepared with options, coming prepared with ideas, not just open-ended, hey, what do you want to do tomorrow for Mother's Day? I guarantee you that is not going to be met very well. So come at least a couple days. I know that I'm making this video late, but if you're watching it not 2025, hopefully you're getting a clue a good amount more time in advance. Lastly, remember, if she has to remind you what the next step is for something, then it's not a gift. It is now a task for her to own the mental load. That's more invisible labor that we're failing on. Ideally, we're thinking through all the steps of what we want to do. We're not necessarily going to be perfect, but ideally we can execute really well so that they don't have to think about anything. Coming back to default parenting for a second, if she's saying, hey, I just want to spend some quality time with the family, I'm betting she wants you to be the default parent during that time. Even if she wants to spend time with the kids, that doesn't necessarily mean she wants to be changing diapers. That doesn't necessarily mean she wants to be doing all the emotional labor or the meeting of needs. Or if everyone's sitting on the couch and the kid asks for milk, you're the one that goes up to get it. So not turning your switch off of default mode while, especially on this day. All the time, I think it's good. I know Alyssa and I have gotten pretty good about saying who's defaulting in any given moment. Oftentimes they'll say, hey, I'm defaulting. I got her needs met. I'm on top of getting her fed, getting her ready for bed, ready for bath time, etc. But I think articulating who is going to be doing the defaulting, who you guys want to be doing the defaulting is ideal. Last two things. If a Mother's Day brunch is a thing she likes doing, I'm almost guaranteeing she does not want to be the one that fully hosts it and manages everything about it. I would highly encourage, if there's going to be any kind of brunch, especially if she's the younger mom, the on-duty mom, the one that has the younger children, she's not the one that should be hosting it. I think if we can have, unless she explicitly likes hosting and that is something that she loves doing to contribute to the family, then that's fine. You probably know that about her, and or you can have a conversation with her about that. I'm betting that most moms do not want to be hosting that. They probably want a good amount of decisions to be made for them so they can just show up and enjoy not having to think and knowing that, Dad, you got things handled for that day. And last thing is, by the end of the day, I would argue that even if you're saying, hey, I don't want you to do housework today, not doing the housework so that she has to do it the next day is also not a gift. So if you're saying, hey, honey, I don't want you to do any of the domestic labor today, I don't want you to do any cleaning, any housework, that doesn't mean the work doesn't get done. That means you do the work, not just that she has a day off so that it can pile up the next day. That is something that I've seen countless TikToks and Instagram reels about. Don't let that happen either. So in review, your goal is to take off the invisible labor for her, not just do a couple of grand gestures. I think grand gestures are super appreciated. We see them every day. They're advertised to us. They're marketed towards us. What so many women want, what I have read in the comment section for a couple years now, is that they just want to not be default parent. They want to have all the invisible labor disappear for a day. And sometimes that means extricating themselves. Sometimes that means they're still there, because I know Alyssa really likes this. She still wants to be with her child. What she doesn't want to have to do is default all day and manage logistics and have things planned for her. So I hope this makes a difference in how you're thinking about how to execute for Mother's Day. So moms, let me know in the comments. Is this accurate? Is this what you would want? Give some further context for, I left a couple things up to choice. I think the people watching this in the comment section would super appreciate it. If you're watching this and you want a deeper discussion more than the comment section, go to my free school community, is in the description below. And for, especially in 2025, I'm offering a deal right now. From now till Mother's Day, if you register for Mental Load Mastery, if you go with the annual plan, and from now till July 4th, if you do the full 8-week curriculum and you do all of your homework assignments in the community, I'll give you a full rebate. So if you pay for the annual amount, I will pay you back all that money if you do the work. My goal is to see you do the work. I don't really care if I get paid or not. I need to get paid to feed my family, and I would much rather see men doing the work, because I know that seeing them do the work is the real thing that makes the world a better place. So please, I encourage you guys, if she sent you this video and this is something that you can be taking advantage of, she's asked you to book a call with me, she's asked you to jump into the community, this is your sign. I've seen plenty of people jump into my Fair Play 101 program or my Mental Load Mastery community as a Mother's Day gift. If she's sending this video to you, there's a good chance that's there for her too. So hope this made a difference. Hope this gives you an idea of what I would encourage around Mother's Day. I know one of the things I got to do today is wrap this. She finally asked for a Stanley Cup. My own thoughts and feelings about that, and I'm going to be wrapping this up. We are probably going to, as talking to her tomorrow morning, we have our weekly boring meeting about whether she wants breakfast in bed. She has a Mother's Day brunch with my mom and her mom on the day before, on Saturday, looking at pending weather for what we're going to be doing. But I'm going to be writing her a poem. I've printed out a handful of pictures. I've often read her a poem with like a toddler's print on it. She doesn't like about that is that she feels guilt the rest of the year that she doesn't put it up on the wall. So I'm sort of retooling it. I'm also going to be doing a video compilation of pictures and videos of her and our toddler together, so she can kind of back and experience it. There's the song Slow Burn by, I forget who the artist is. I can see her face. But a couple of years now, that's like the song that kind of looks back on motherhood for her. So I'm going to be compiling that the next couple of days, that together. And I think that's tend to go for more artistic and creative gifts. And she likes to be around our toddler. She doesn't typically want a whole lot of time to herself besides defaulting, but she really likes being in and around, whether it's just a simple day of going to the playground, maybe watching a movie together. She doesn't typically like doing big eventy things during Mother's Day. So look forward to seeing y'all in the comments, seeing y'all in the community, and seeing where I can be of service to having mothers fully appreciated on Mother's Day.